you'll have a nice Christmas. That's good. I did too. I went to visit my grandpa. He lives in South Wales. And we have this tradition that every Christmas Eve, me, my mum and my grandpa, we go for a drink at my grandpa's local pub. So me, my mum and my grandpa, we go into the pub and we walk over to the bar and the barman says, "What can I get you?" And my mum says, 3 pints of beer. And the barman says, "That'll be £9.20. So she gives him the money and she takes a change and we take our drinks and we go and sit down and we're just chatting, catching up. But there's something at the back of my mind, something that feels not quite right about the situation. Anyway, we start chatting about this tradition that we have of going for a drink together on Christmas Eve. And I started asking my grandpa about some of the things that he did when he was a kid growing up with his family in Wales at Christmas. And he said, back when he was a boy, when there were wolves in Wales and birds the colour of red flannel petticoats whisked past the harp-shaped hills, he said they sang and wallowed all night and day in caves that smelled like Sunday afternoons in damp front farmhouse parlours. Which sounds like a nice way to spend Christmas, right? But he also said something about the snow. He said he remembers that Wales was always as white as Lapland at Christmas. And I thought that was interesting because I seem to remember when I was younger that it snowed much more than it does now. But I'm never sure if that's down to a kind of nostalgia or if the snow just seemed deeper because I was shorter. But he insisted that back then the snow was different because unlike now, how it falls from the sky, back then it also came shoreling out of the ground and swam and drifted out of the arms and hands and bodies of the trees. And get this right, he said the snow grew overnight on the rooftops of houses like a pure and grandfather moss, minutely angling the walls and settling on the postman as he opened the gate like a dumb thunderstorm of white torn Christmas cards. And although he didn't say explicitly, I took him to be alluding to the effect that global warming has had on our climate. Anyway, the chat's going on, we're sharing stories, and I'm sort of just kind of half listening to my mum and my grandpa's conversation, and I'm looking around the pub and just watching people have a nice time in their holiday. And my eyes settle on 3 children who are sat around a table in the corner of the room. And they've obviously been brought to the pub as a kind of Christmas treat. And they've been given a bag of crisps to share. And they're dividing up the crisps between them, counting them out, taking size into account, showing the due concern that children often show for the distribution of luxury goods. And they get to the last round, and they only have 2 crisps left. And I can see that they've got a problem. That either one of the kids is going to have 1 less crisp than the other 2, or they're going to have to divide up those final 2 crisps so that they can all have exactly equal portions. And as I watched them in their predicament, I realised what it was that was bothering me earlier in the evening. £9.20 is not divisible by 3, so 3 of the same type of beer costing £9.20, that round that we had earlier. And when I realised this, I interrupted my grandpa's conversation and said, Mum, £9.20 is not divisible by 3, so that round you got earlier, either it was different amounts for the same pint of beer, or the barman charges point something of a pence per beer, which doesn't make any sense either. But she didn't really seem to understand what I was saying, so I thought, I just go over and ask the barman. But with it being Christmas Eve, it's quite busy, so there's a good 3 people deep at the bar, so I just stand and I wait my turn. Anyway, he comes over and he says, how can I help? And I say, it's the wrong barman. It's not the barman that served us earlier in the evening. The barman that served us earlier in the evening is down the other end of the bar serving someone else. So I explain that I just need to talk to the barman. He goes over and speaks to the other barman, but obviously I have to wait because that barman's serving someone else, so I just wait till he's finished. And when he comes over, he's about to speak to me, but then he realises he's got some snot just coming out of his nose. I kind of look a bit shocked, and he can feel it, obviously, so he kind of looks around for a tissue, but he hasn't got one. So he has to go into the back just to blow his nose, so I just wait while he goes. And then he comes over and he says, "Oh, how can I help?" And I say, "Well, the thing is, that round that we bought earlier, you probably remember I came in with Mum and my grandpa. It cost £9.20. It can't cost £9.20 because you can't have 3 of the same type of beer costing £9.20, because when you buy a group of things, the total amount has to be divisible by the number of units you've got. And the penny is the smallest unit in the British currency, so you can't have a number that's not divisible by 3 to make a leftover of the smaller of a penny, because it doesn't make any sense." And he said, "Oh yeah, I remember, that's right. No, I didn't charge you £9.20, I charged you £9.72. That's how much a round of 3 of those kind of beers cost." And I said, "Oh, I probably just misheard." But he was very nice about it, and I just went and sat down and finished my drink and had a really nice evening with my mum and my grandpa.